Adam Oates was on TV, I think it was last night, and he was saying some very interesting things about Ovi, saying that he didn't have a problem with him. He coached him for 2 years, and he said maybe some of the way that the things that he says are misinterpreted. But I found it kind of interesting that, you know, if Adam Oates was trying to play, like not trying to get controversial, he was actually presenting some interesting thoughts about Ovechkin and saying clearly, exactly, he is not a coach killer.
He actually, you're right, he said he missed him. He said he missed coaching him, which I was shocked to hear based on what we'd heard about the relationship between Adam Oates and Alex Ovechkin. Same with the relationship between Bruce Boudreau and Alex Ovechkin. He does have a reputation as being that guy, being a coach killer, but, you know, and I know that, you know, Bill and I have talked about Ovechkin, and Bill's been critical at times, and rightfully so, based on how Ovi's played. But I think right now Ovechkin has a swagger. You saw that in Game 1 of this series when, you know, he scored against Lundqvist and skated by him and said, all series, baby. And like, he's into this. He is going to give it everything he's got. He's been right now a really good team guy. You saw his reaction after Beagle scored the fluky goal yesterday. You know, he got pretty excited. I think right now this is about as well as Alex Ovechkin can play.
Well, I don't think there's any question. He's playing better in the playoffs now than he has ever played. The explanation that I require is, what were you doing for the past 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the cup half empty, okay? I acknowledge the guy's skill set. I acknowledge that he's applying it, but I'll tell you one thing. Adam Oates' comments are very interesting. And the one thing that I remembered last year, and I think Adam Oates is a great guy, a great hockey player and a good coach. They're playing Dallas, and I'm watching it on my center ice down in Florida, and the score is 5-1 for Dallas. And Mr. Ovechkin has been on for at least 3, very lazy 3. And they've got footage of it, the Dallas people are showing. This is what you don't like about Alex Ovechkin. Look at him. He couldn't care less about coming back. So he's -3 at least. Washington gets a 2-man advantage. Guess what Adam Oates does? He sends Ovechkin over the wall. The worst player on his team, the most irresponsible player on his team, and I said to the guy that was watching it with me, I said, that's the end of Adam Oates. Because he's playing to Ovechkin's hand to the obvious point that the rest of the players on the team say, what the hell are you giving him any favors when he, in effect, has cost us this game? And if that's the way you're going to coach, you're not going to last very long. It's nice to keep Ovechkin on your team, but it's also nice to have some form of reciprocity. Like, when the playoffs come, coach, I'll be there for you. 10 years he was never there. He's finally there. I want to see it happen 2 years in a row.
Well said.
Or you want to see it happen throughout the playoffs, because the further it goes, the likelihood is, A, all these guys their bodies are going to start to wear down, and secondly, when you play a team, if they get to, you know, the finals and they play, let's say, Anaheim or Chicago, and certainly if it's Anaheim's going to be laying on the body. So, you know,
the thing about it, though, Perry, Ovechkin is a horse.
Yeah, he's very physical. There's no question
I'll tell you, earlier this year, Anaheim played Washington. Really good game in Anaheim that Washington won. And Ovechkin dove a couple times when he was in the corner with Getzlaf, and Getzlaf called him out right afterwards and was swearing and was really pissed off about Ovechkin's game. I would love to see Anaheim Washington, because that rivalry would heat up immediately, and know Anaheim would be all over him. They would continually try to pound on him, and Ovechkin will give it right back.
Well, Ovechkin made the comment, I'm paraphrasing here, but it had something to do with he had better hair than Getzlaf. And Getzlaf laughed it off because he's bald, basically, right?
Yeah.
But
that's typical Ovechkin. He's an ignoramus. How do you show up at Columbus for the player draft half pissed?
Yeah.
I mean, graceful. I have no time for him. None whatsoever. I try to accommodate him when he puts on a half-decent show. I wouldn't have him within 50 miles of any hockey team that I owned. The fact is, I won't own any, so I can say it without any equivocation.